Translator's note. 13 years after he attained ultimate enlightenment in 1969, Venerable Ācariya Thoon Khippapañño penned his first book entitled Line of Practice for Mental Development. That was translated into English by Chee Liz and distributed as a booklet in the 1990s. Sometime thereafter, Longpa Thoon overhauled the majority of that text, significantly reorganizing and refining the original concepts. The result was a condensed yet comprehensive guide for Dhamma practice from start to finish. This is a new translation based on the revised version of Line of Practice for Mental Development. In this book, Longpa Thoon refers to puru. Puru literally translates to one who knows or the knower in Thai. If you were to pinch your arm and zero in on the sensation of being pinched, as if mentally squinting to see it more clearly, while remaining keenly aware as your mind processes the sensations as they shift from intense to dull to no more pain, that laser-like state of knowing or heightened focus consciousness is what we call puru. I have opted not to use a translation of the term, but to keep it as puru so that the reader can easily identify the concept throughout the text. One could say that aramana is the main topic of this text. In Thai, aramana refers to mood, emotion, or temper. In Pali, aramana translates to object, sense object, preoccupation, or focus of the mind at a given moment. It is that which serves as the basis for the mind's focus when the internal sense bases, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, come into contact with the external sense bases, form, sound, scent, taste, touch. There are 6 kinds of sense objects: form or visible object, sound, scent or odor, taste or flavor, touch or tactile sensation, and mind or mental object. The 6th sense object, mind or mental object, is called Dhammaram. It is the impression left by past sense objects that may be conjured by the mind even without any external stimuli. After an aramana or sense object arises in the mind, the 4 mental aggregates of vedana, feeling, sanya, recognition or memory, sankhara, mental formations, volitional thought, fabrications, imagination, and vijnana, consciousness, have something to focus on and can begin to carry out their duties. There is consciousness of the object, recognition and memory of the object, and mental formations of the object, ultimately giving rise to a feeling that is either pleasing, displeasing, or neither pleasing nor displeasing, referred to in Pali as ittaramana, anittaramana, ubekharamana, respectively. Instead of using the Pali term aramana, or its English translations of object or sense object, which might not evoke any significant meaning for many readers, I have opted to use the term preoccupation, which I feel effectively conveys the meaning of aramana in the majority of contexts. As for Pali terms like sati or sankhara, which can often take on more than one definition depending on context, I have chosen to use the English translation whenever it is possible to pinpoint a single definition, and the Pali term whenever the flexibility of more than one definition provides an advantage in understanding. Sati literally translates to memory or recollection, but more often refers to mindfulness, awareness, attentiveness, or focusing the mind on an object. Sankhara, as one of the aggregates, refers to mental formations, volitional thought, fabrications, or imagination, and in other contexts may refer to all the forces that form or conditioned things, or conditioned phenomena. The terms kilesa and tanha appear throughout this text. Kilesa literally translates to torment of the mind and refers to defilements or mental impurities that prevent beings from seeing the truth of reality as it is. Tanha literally translates to thirst and refers to craving or desire, which is the cause of suffering and that which feels rebirth. In a practical sense, kilesa is the object or embodiment of tanha. The terms defilement and desire are used in place of kilesa and tanha throughout this text. Translating Thai into English can be complicated, because of the differences in sentence structure and grammar. While English typically requires subjects and pronouns, Thai does not. They may be omitted in Thai, and arahants, fully enlightened ones, in particular tend to do so, perhaps because they no longer cling to notions of ownership. For example, Luang Por Thun often refers to the mind instead of my mind or your mind. I have attempted to maintain that objective, indirect writing style characteristic of arahants throughout the text, but have added pronouns or subjects whenever Luang Por Thun does, or whenever not doing so creates too much ambiguity. One section in particular, in which Luang Por Thun describes the results of practice, was impossible to translate in one consistent point of view, because there were specifics of Luang Por Thun's own experience intermixed with indirect general statements throughout. However, this is absolutely understandable, given that it is customary for arahants to avoid speaking directly of their spiritual attainments. I acknowledge that switching between first, second, and third person point of views may be off-putting for some readers, and I hope that they can find a way to see past grammatical constructs into the fundamental meaning of the text. Another stylistic choice is that of intentional repetition. While many sentences would likely sound better condensed, doing so would eliminate the emphasis through repetition that Luang Por Thun deliberately adds to his words. Consider the difference in what you feel and how you process a phrase like, once you know suffering and see suffering, versus once you know and see suffering. Or a sentence like, birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering, versus birth, aging, sickness, and death are suffering. In extended form, you are directed to evaluate each element on its own, and that is crucial if you wish to obtain results from Dhamma contemplations. Luang Por Thun often taught that contemplating topics summarily is a major reason practice does not bear fruit, as a practitioner who does this will mistakenly assume that they already understand everything and stop thinking. Thank you, Machiyo Saranya Thian-Ngern, for working with me on this translation. Much appreciation to Alana Dennison, Jason Connick, and John Sum for your thoughtful and timely edits. Anumotana with San Fran Dhammaram Temple, WSF Sapan Bun Foundation in Thailand, and the many individual donors who sponsored the printing of this Dhamma book. Machi Neecha Thian-Ngern, San Fran Dhammaram Temple, September 2025.